agenda?
Linda?
Yeah.
Linda, thank you very much. All right, all in favor? Adopting the
Mr.
agenda?
Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
could I add something to new business?
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred, of course, yes.
Yes, just to add into the province's Affordable Housing Task Force report, and I'll explain that in a little while.
Thank you very much. We will do it that time. Okay. Minutes of the February 1st meeting. I move to accept the minutes. Are there any deletions, changes, omissions? Linda, you want to move?
Yeah,
All right, mover, Linda's moving to adopt the meeting of the February 1st minutes. All in favor?
yep.
Put the hands up. Thank you very much. That's
Aye.
passed. All right, financial invoices for payment. I don't have any. I just want to say a couple of things about that. McGee's will start putting on the new plaques, replacing our faded plaques as soon as the weather is appropriate. He needs good, warm weather, right? The glue just does not cure properly if they don't do that. So I would think it'd be sometime in May. All right, so sometime in May, if you have, I don't know if we have one that has to be redone, and I haven't forgotten the Monroe House. We'll add that one too. He'll come around. They're already paid for. Yes,
Do we
Tim.
have to notify the homeowners and location sites that that'll be occurring?
Well, I'm not sure that we have to notify them about anything, and the plaques actually belong to us. And all we're doing is just going over top of them with a new facing. I suppose it would be a nicety if we did that, but we can talk more about that later. Okay. We
I
certainly
can do
could.
that if you need someone to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there are two in our neighborhood that have two or three that have to be done. And I just knock on the doors for those. So we'll take care of that.
Great.
Yes.
If I could just add something, while we're talking about this, I got an email from Debbie Dominic yesterday, and she's indicated that her plaque is fading too, and wanted to know if there was something we could do about it. And she also pointed out that the one on the Carter Holland house across the street, she says it looks to be quite faded, and wanted to know if somebody could look at that one too.
Well, I've looked at the Carter Holland house and it's not bad,
I
It
thought
wasn't
so
the
too.
but the Flannery house is on the list.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So
I'll let her know.
yeah, let Debbie know that it's
Yeah.
it's coming.
Okay,
Like Christmas, it will get there eventually. Okay.
sure.
All right. So the good news is these are all paid for out of our budget,
Okay.
so that's taken care of. Okay. Sale of Beaver Dams books, nothing that we have there. Okay.
No.
New business. Fred, would you like to talk now about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. The province has come out with what they call the Affordable Housing Task Force report. And within report, because I've been reading it and I will be speaking at council tonight about it, is that part of it is to do with heritage properties. And I'll just read the little sections that I have found, and there are other sections, and you'll have to go through the report in order to find them. But it says, number 16 in a recommendation, prevent abuse of the heritage preservation and designation process by prohibiting the use of bulk listing on municipal heritage registers, in other words, the city's registers, prohibiting reactive heritage designations after a Planning Act development application has been filed, requiring municipalities to compensate property owners for loss of property value as a result of heritage designations based on the principle of best economic use of land. That's a few of the things that I have found, and there are others. So my recommendation is that this committee take a look at the report, go through it quickly because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't deal with heritage, and maybe make some comments at a later date regarding what the province is going to do. What they're doing is they're opening up land, residential areas to put development projects, no matter how high, how big, and all of those types of things. So it would be this best interest of this committee take a look at that act and make some comments on it at a later date.
Could you give me the name of the act again, please?
It's the province's Affordable Housing Task Force report. And if you go on under Ontario government, you'll find it.
Okay, thank you. Tim?
Fred just answered the question. I just wanted
Okay.
to know a little bit more specifically where to find it.
Yeah, well, that seems like it'd be an an out and out attack on heritage, doesn't it?
It
Yes.
definitely is.
Mhm.
I guess I'm not too surprised. But anyway, we'll read it and we'll take a look at what we can do about that. Maybe we'll have to respond in some way. Okay, moving now to any other new business I should mention? Nothing? Okay, moving on to properties, Beaver Dams Church. And I think Joe wanted to say a few words.
Yeah, there, at the meeting, there was some really good news that was put forward in terms of donation. Norris Walker of Walker Industries put forward a personal donation on his own behalf of $100,000 to the restoration of the church.
Phew.
And that wasn't a cashier's check either. That was a personal check that he wrote and put it in the mail.
Put it in the mail, right? Send it through the mail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this isn't the Walker Foundation that made this donation. This was Norris himself that made it. One other thing that came out of the meeting, I won't go into too much detail on it, but John Henderson, the treasurer of the committee on the executive, has put forward a recommendation that our executive and the Friends executive get together to have some dialogue regarding the next stage of the restoration, which involves the interior details. So I've talked to Craig about that and we've agreed to move forward. So I'm going to set up a meeting with them. Their executive committee meets, I believe, next weekend or next Wednesday. So that we've got time to put together something.
Sure. And we're at an intricate stage and important stage of the development of the church, the restoration of it. I think we'd all agree that up until this point, it's been a wonderfully handled job, right from the roof to the windows, the siding, the doors, everything. The foundation is of museum quality, but it's incredibly important that the interior reflect the exterior. And I was talking to Tim and Anna yesterday about this, that those final details and finishing can make or break the interior of the church. And it deserves to have the best. So what we're doing is we're going to meet with them and hope to establish a detail by detail plan of what's going to be happening next on the interior. Remember, this is a provincially designated building. So they're responsible not only to the city of Thorold, but also to the province, as are we as a committee. So we're hoping to work with them on that. And hopefully we'll have some we do have expertise in that area, a number of us, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with them a plan so we can see exactly what's going to happen. A lot of it's going to be paint, right? There's going to have to be scrapings done, that type of thing, to see what the color of the woodwork was, what color the pews were, what color the floor was, that type of thing, and a few others. And also we'll be talking to them about lighting. Okay, so that's our plan. We'll let you know after we meet with them at our next meeting exactly what came out of that. If you have any suggestions for us, maybe you could talk to one of us before we actually have a meeting with them. I haven't told Tom yet that that's going to happen, but I will let him know. Anything else about the church? Yes, Fred?
Yeah, just maybe add on, because they're thinking about washrooms and whether to put them in outside or inside or not have them at all. It might be interested in your conversations to talk about that also.
Yeah, I think that my last meeting with Dave their indication was they want to build a separate building, all right, to house washrooms. And there really isn't any room in the interior to put them, but they could have a separate building. That would be another fundraising project, I'm sure, in order to do that. In order to have weddings and receptions and so on, they have to have a washroom, some type of washroom facility. So, but things are moving along. Any other questions about that or comments? Yes, Tim?
I just wanted to say that the photos in Thorold today, if you haven't all seen them,
Yes.
from Bernard, wonderful photos of the interior of the church. So those are really nice to see.
Yes, and Bernard has continued the tradition of the Thorold News by highlighting our heritage homes, and he's doing about 6 or 7 at a time. He just shows pictures. You probably have seen those, and those are all new photographs that he's taking. So I have thanked them for that in the past, but it keeps the buildings in the mind of the public, which is what we want. Okay, moving on now to the DeQ Young House. If you've driven by, you've seen that the actual addition to this heritage building has not begun yet. Just the garages, and I have no idea why. They haven't contacted us, so I guess it's just been slowed down.
They
The
did,
Carmen, yeah, Carmen, is there a question about that? No?
they
Okay.
did paint the garage.
They did paint the garage, that's right.
Yeah,
And what color is that, Tim? Was that the pale green?
the green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the color that was determined. It was a kind of a gray-green color.
Yeah, it
And
looks
that will
good.
give you an indicate. That's the color the house is going to be as well, which is a good indication for us.
Mhm.
Okay, Carmen Mill and Block. Nothing from a heritage perspective. They're still waiting to appease the building department as far as the interior is concerned before they can open. I think that's what's happening there. Fernie House, well, that's on hold, as we know, for a while, until the owners decide whether or not they want to proceed with a designation, which it could be a little while, could be a year or two. The Pew House, I added this to the list. I want to talk about Pew House. Got an email from Mary and David the other day, the owners, and they said, could we take the vinyl railings off our porch in the front? And if you remember the building, the porch sits 8 inches above the ground, which was not uncommon. The original porch in our house was the same. They're almost a ground level porch. They never had railings. There was no reason for a railing when your porch sits on the ground. And it was a much later vinyl. So I took the opportunity on your behalf to say, absolutely, that would be something we would support. Also, if you recall that neoclassical American look trim that had been applied over the front door, do you remember that one? Broken pediment, which really isn't seen probably anywhere in Canada except maybe the East Coast. They will be removing that as well. That was probably put on about 10 or 15 years ago. And they didn't do it before the designation because they didn't have time to paint the siding before that. So they're continuing with that. And it's interesting, she sent me a picture of an 8-foot church pew that they purchased for their front porch. So I said, a pew for the Pew House. Really nice. They continue to be the most fervent members, new members of this group of heritage owners in Thorold. So all the best to them. Okay, installation of the history plaques. I think now that this may be a year that we can ask the department, the operations department, to go ahead with those. I'm going to ask Tim, or not Tim, I'm going to ask Tom. Tom's actually in charge of plaques to get a count on our stands. I believe we have 6, but he'll find out for sure. We also have the Adobe House plaque there, and we have the Stone Store plaque in storage. The Adobe House will require a stand. The Stone Store plaque will be just affixed directly to the building. Also, in that regard, the plaques that are being replaced on the buildings, one at the post office, the old post office, and at the fire hall, they faded very badly. So that's on our list of those that are going to be done. Okay, just as a reminder. All right, anything else on that? Okay, downtown facade program. Mallory, will you be taking over for Denise and that committee?
Yeah, I will be filling in for Denise until we get a new manager.
All right, and I'm a member of that, but I haven't heard that there's been any other applications. Is that correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, thank you very much. Tourism advisory. Who'd like to speak to that? Tim or Randy?
We didn't have a meeting
just
last month.
go over it.
Yeah,
Good.
we didn't have a quorum for that meeting, so hopefully we'll be moving forward in April. And the
Okay.
topic on that is the heritage banners that I'm trying to push through.
Okay, good. Planning items outstanding. All right, we still have the Monroe House interior. Mallory, this is something that's been hanging over for, I don't know, 5 years. And you probably don't know anything about it, but the Monroe House, which is owned by Tim and Anna on Ormond Street, has had an interior designation that we wanted removed. It was done in days that we used to do interior designations. Both of the designations deal with features of the house that were much later additions. So we'll bring you up to speed on that sometime, and we can talk about removing those. It's been something that's been shoved down the list. I think we all have an appreciation for the role that the planning department is playing in the immense growth of Thorold at this particular time, building hundreds of houses. But we don't want to be forgotten as a heritage committee. So we'll talk to you about that. All right. Battle of Beaver Dams Park, holding off on our approach to the city about the designation of the park until the work is done. Fred, can you give us an update on that? On the
Who
actual
knows?
work?
who knows, from my perspective, they say it's going to be done before we have our June events.
Yes.
But we'll see what happens as we go along.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems to be softscaping needs to be done now. And that's the planting of grass and trees and so on.
Yeah,
I imagine it's going to be seeded. I can't imagine it's going to be sodded, but they'll move pretty quickly, I'm sure, when the ground thaws.
yeah, and we just want to make sure that the historical plaques and the historical tree is planted back in, at least in the park somewhere, whether it's on the same spot or not.
That's right. And the plaques are going to go in an oval, I think, or is there in a circle, where they're all going to be placed together, my understanding, so people can get a walk around and see them.
Yeah.
Rather than spread across the park. After this is all done, then this could be the next term. This will be next term, I'm sure. If we wish to continue to approach the city about a designation for the park, based on the fact that Block 25 is there, and it was the place where the canal, first and second canals ran through the middle of town, we'll do that at that time, okay? Now, the Eller House and the Vine Street House, all right, delivering letters to them, all right? And these were in hopes that the owners would consider us continuing or initiating the approach of designating these buildings under the Ontario Heritage Act. They are on our inventory. I have not heard from the Vine Street people. I had a little glitch with the Eller House, but I had Tim and Anna went out and took a look at it again for me because I thought I was seeing something I wasn't. I'm not going to talk about that now. When we're in camera sometime, we'll do that. But I will be delivering a letter to the Eller House this week. If we don't hear back, we don't hear back. They have my phone number, they have my address. And all I've asked in the letter is that they take a look at what I'm saying, that they give us an opportunity to talk to them about the advantages and the implications of having a historically designated building. We've all agreed that they are outstanding candidates, those two buildings. So we'll see what happens from then on. And that's it for those. Any other outstanding items in that regard? No? Okay, good. All right, moving down to website. Ray isn't with us today. What Linda, can you speak to that at all? Do we know what's happening?
Just Mark's working on it. I haven't taken any pictures because the weather hasn't been good enough to take any pictures.
Yeah, so
We will get busy at that as the grass greens and the spring flowers come.
right. What we were hoping to get, and I'll send Ray an email, that we were hoping to get an indication of what the format might look like.
I know you don't. Sorry, I don't know anything about that.
No, just because you're married to the person I want to talk to doesn't mean you know anything about it, of course. But
Right.
I want to make sure that we're moving along in this regard. And Ray was going to bring us something. Is this the last seminar of the year for him?
Yes.
Okay, so he'll be free for a while anyway. And
Yeah.
then we'll be just have a chance to take a look at that and see what we have, okay?
Mhm.
All right, any mail? Tim?
Uh,
I'm not Tim, excuse me, Joe.
No,
Joe, Tim and Joe are sitting above each other. No mail? Okay,
no.
sorry.
I know.
All right. Let's go around the table then. All right, Fred, anything on the round the table?
Not for me today.
Okay. Linda?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that this revamping of the website will take some time, but it's going to go ahead
Oh, I'm sure it's going to go ahead. We
steadily.
just want
Yeah.
to, yeah, let's go. Okay. All right, and Tim?
Nothing.
Nothing? Joe?
No, I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay. Anna?
No.
This may be a record. Mike?
Not a thing.
Not a thing. Eh? Okay, that's fine. All right. What I would say is that I'm hoping to work through Mallory. Did you come up again? Mallory? Who's the director of planning? I mean, is the director the highest position in planning?
Yes, so we are currently without a director or a manager.
Ah,
So we are looking to fill those positions hopefully soon.
is Paul still with the city or not?
Yes, so currently the
What-
planning department is made up of Paul and myself. And Jason Simpson, who is the chief building official, is our acting director right now.
You only have two planners on the city right now?
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, we have some outstanding issues that we do want to talk about, just so you know. We've been working towards a heritage permit system for Thorold, which we don't have. All right. And we also have the heritage impact policy, which has been worked on, but I don't imagine it's complete yet. Is that true?
I don't believe so. I think Denise left some instructions for the new manager. when we get one.
Because we have one case coming up where we really need the heritage impact policy. So who's it best for me to talk to then?
You can send me an email and I'll connect you with Jason Simpson.
Okay, thank you very much. With Jason. All right. Okay, good. So I imagine the city is looking for some planners like everybody else is. Okay, folks, I think that's basically it, unless anyone has anything else. Anything else to say? No? We'll all be seeing each other as we move outdoors for the summer, working on our houses. And our next meeting will be May the 3rd. Okay. And unless you hear differently, we will be online at that time as well. Bye for now.
Take care.
Have a good day.
everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Be safe, stay
Good
well,
luck-
be
Good
safe.
luck, Michael. Good luck,
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike, good luck.
Oh, yeah. I'll have a new knee the time you see me.
Oh, yes,
Have a
yes,
new
good luck.
Awesome.
It could be next